Here.
Commissioner Hillis,
Here.
Chairperson Groman,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Dieger,
Here.
Commissioner Martinoski,
Here.
Commissioner O'Day,
Here.
Commissioner Gore.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Would you stand with me and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is a time of our meeting where the public can come up and speak regarding city business that the Planning and Zoning Commission has authority over. We just ask that you be mindful of everybody's time, that you limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. When you come up, please state your name and whether you're a resident within the city limits of Branson. Is there anybody from the public who wants to speak tonight?
We have no speakers that have signed up.
Okay. First item on the regular agenda is the approval of the Planning Commission minutes for the May 7th, 2024 regular meeting. Has the commission had a chance to review the minutes, and are there any comments regarding the minutes? I will now entertain a motion to approve the May 7th, 2024 meeting minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a first and second. I'll now call for a vote.
Commissioner Richards? Yes. Alderperson Denham?
Yes.
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Hillis?
Yes.
Chairperson Groman?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Dieger?
Yes.
Commissioner Martinoski?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Day?
Yes.
Commissioner Gore?
Yes.
Result of the vote is 9 yea, 0 nay. Motion carries.
Thank you. The first item on the public hearing is a request for a municipal code amendment throughout Chapter 94 pertaining to electrical vehicle charging stations. More specifically, Section 94-61E18, removing the special use requirements for Level 3 electrical vehicle charging stations and clarifying the permitted zoning districts and modifying Section 97.87.f. Can I get a motion to bring this item to the floor?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
We'll now open the public hearing for this item. Would staff like to provide information on this item?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Good evening, Commission. Thanks for being here. So this code amendment tonight addresses the Level 3 electric vehicle charging stations. Our current code, as it sits right now, requires that Level 3 charging stations obtain a special use permit if located within the neighborhood commercial, mixed use, downtown, and entertainment districts. The Level 3 charging stations are allowed by right in the community commercial, business, and industrial zoning districts. So what this proposed amendment would do is to allow Level 3 charging stations as a permitted use within all zoning districts. So we have our definition of electric vehicle charging stations in Section 94-5 definitions, and just kind of some topics that staff kind of kicked around a little bit trying to figure out on, how to handle this amendment. But basically, we know the EV chargers are quickly gaining traction nationwide. The trends are still continuing to move forward toward clean technology development. Requiring a special use permit for a Level 3 charger seems burdensome and just adds another layer of regulation that staff does not think is needed. Utility companies, they do require a permit for the EV installation in residential. The city also requires a building permit for any of these installations of the EV chargers. So it is monitored, it's permitted, goes through processes for review, for electrical review, those kind of things. And then, Branson has over 10 million tourists annually, so EV chargers offer additional resources for travelers needing this service. So this is the Section 94-61 where we're proposing the changes. It's pretty straightforward, kind of simple, but it's in 18B, number 2. So basically, we're just striking all the references to the different zoning districts where it is allowed or requires a special use permit, and just adding in the words in all zoning districts. So it would read, Level 3 electric vehicle charging stations are permitted uses in all zoning districts, which is, we have Level 1 and Level 2 electric vehicle charging stations, and they are already permitted in all zoning districts. Another section that this affects is Section 94-87. It's our off-street parking standards section. So basically, this F2 section, we have maximum parking calculation exceptions. So we do have an exception for spaces with electrical vehicle charging stations up to a maximum of 2 per 50 parking spaces. We are just proposing to add the language in as determined by the planning director, just to give some flexibility in case we get a use that maybe exceeds the maximum of 2 per 50, and we can have some little wiggle room in there. That is all on this one, and staff's recommendation is for approval of the code amendment. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions?
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Because when I was looking at this earlier, it says you're wanting to get rid of, to allow them in all zoning districts. But that would include residential zoning,
That's correct.
a 3-tier, correct?
That's correct.
So someone could set up a charging station with several charging stations and charge right in the middle of a residential area.
Well, so I talked to our building division about this, just out of curiosity of, because I thought that question might come up. The amount of energy it takes for these level 3 are like 100 amp, which is what a typical household already takes. So they would have to install, a new electrical unit. They would have to be able to physically, or not physically, but be able to electrically do it. We have not seen any in residential districts. But something else to keep in mind is that also allowed in residential districts are churches and schools, parks, places like that. They're allowed in LDR, HDR, MDR. So it does affect other uses if we restrict them in those districts. I believe what they're really seeing right now in residential is a level 1 and 2. So anyway, that's just the background information I got from our building division and through checking through Liberty's websites and White River Electric.
Right, but the level 1 and 2, homes have those. You put those in your garages. But what we're talking about on the 3 and removing that is they could be allowed, and I know no one's done it yet, but we're always trying to think about what's going to happen down the road. But someone could actually go into the middle of a residential area, buy a lot, and just put up charging stations, and there's nothing to stop
I
that.
think our zoning code would restrict that, because that would be like an accessory use, just out in the middle of nowhere. It'd have to be somehow contained in their garage or out back or something. I mean, it couldn't just be a whole lot just full of them. That's not anything that we don't even have that as a permit.
Right, but
permissible.
there would not be anything in the code to stop that anymore.
We would consider it an accessory use, and so you have to have a primary structure to have an accessory use. I was thinking about the guy that has a big shop or something and has lots of money and has big cars or whatever, and, can have a level 3 electric charger in his shop that might be zoned, LDR or ag or something like that. Yeah, I know what you're saying, and we can amend the motion if you want to.
Are level 1, 2, and 3 equally safe as far as, there's no increased danger to the public, right?
Not that I'm aware of. I do remember when we had that special use permit that a couple months ago, I think it was in April, there was a gentleman from Liberty, and he was actually saying the level 3 are safer because they have an automatic turn-off or stop mechanism or something.
And the level has nothing to do with the size. You can have a 1-unit level 1, a 1-unit level 2, and a 1-unit level 3, right?
Well, and we do regulate the height. We have extra conditions for all of the electric chargers for heights.
Because I know some of the condominium associations are thinking about putting them in. All a level 3 does is enable you to charge quicker, right?
That's correct. It's like a fast charger. Yep.
Thank you.
So leaving it open like that would allow churches to have them and parks if the
If-
city so chose to put them in the future?
Yeah, if they were in that zoning district, they may or may not be in a residential district, but they're allowed in a residential district.
I think that's a good idea. For for future use, I mean, if we're going towards electric vehicles, having them in churches.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at some of these websites like Liberty and White River, I mean, Liberty's doing a net zero 2050 plan where they're trying to reduce their carbon footprint with solar, fleet vehicles converting to compressed natural gas and electrical power, which is what that special use permit was here a couple months ago. White River has an incentive program, which is a rebate for installing the EV chargers. There's federal tax credits available for doing this. There was a bill that got passed, the Inflation Reduction Act, which allows consumers to transfer tax credit to car dealers, which reduces the purchase price if you do buy an electric vehicle. So I think the trend is coming, but
Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
So just regarding Mr. Hill, Chairperson, Commissioner Hillis's comment, in a single-family residential zoning district, it would be considered an accessory structure, so it would not be allowed. Plus, maybe even, you know, putting one in and charging someone else, that would become a home-based business, so that would not be allowed either. So in a residential district, would these need to be enclosed, or they can just be put out?
yeah, and that's something that we could propose additional language for the residential districts for the level threes, if that would make you guys feel more comfortable. Monitoring the location, you know, emphasizing it can't be a principal structure and you know, that sort of thing, but
Are level 1 and 2 authorized in residential districts now?
yes,
Now, that picture behind you, are those level 3?
that's what Google said, yes.
But it could just as well be a picture of a level 1, a level 2, or a level 3.
I've seen some pictures of level ones and maybe twos that were inside of a garage that was not this size. It was small, mounted on a wall.
You could have like a level 2 outside. I know like at Point Royale, they're trying to get permission to put charges outside their condo. So they can't be, it can't be that big or inconvenient. I mean, why not authorize it?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it at a clubhouse of a, you know, a homeowners association or something in the parking lot of it. That would be more appropriate. Yeah, and I will have to say one other thing is in our current table of uses, it actually has a permitted status for every single district, even though it's a special use permit for a few of them. That was something that we noticed that was some kind of error happened. But right now, that table of uses say it's permitted in every district. However, we have further language that restricts it to just those few districts with a special use permit.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Anybody from the public want to make any comments? There being none, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion to approve the request for municipal code amendments throughout Chapter 94 pertaining to electrical vehicle charging stations. More specifically, Section 91-61.E.18, removing the special use requirement for Level 3 electrical vehicle charging stations and clarifying permitted zoning districts and modifying Section 94.87.f. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? Got a motion. Okay, call for a vote.
Commissioner Richards? Alderperson Denham?
Yes.
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Hillis?
No.
Chairperson Groman?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Dieger?
Yes.
Commissioner Martinoski?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Day?
Yes.
Commissioner Gore? Okay, we have 8 votes yea, 1 nay. Motion carried.
Okay. The second item of the public hearing is a request for municipal code amendments throughout Chapter 94, more particularly Section 94-10, land disturbance. Can I get a motion to bring this item to the floor? Do I have a second?
Second.
Prior to opening the public hearing, I understand staff would like to speak on this item.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, staff has a request tonight to continue this, or I'm sorry, postpone this item indefinitely as we continue to review the proposed code amendment and the impact it's going to have on the city and future development. By continuing this item indefinitely, it also avoids another potential continuance next month, and it allows for staff to re-advertise the public hearing in the newspaper so it's clear and concise on the dates moving forward for public hearings.
Do any of the commissioners have any comments or questions on this? Yes, sir.
Well, we still have current code in place that's, has not been modified, just the current code that we have always had. But there's a lot of moving parts on this one, and we're kind of stepping back a little bit, maybe thinking we should get a meeting together with developers, stakeholders, folks like that, to get some more input as we kind of sharpen it up a little bit.
Hey, Greg, can you speak into the microphone a little more?
Oh, that helps, doesn't it? So, when this came up recently, right, for our developments, for residential land disturbance, is that gonna stay the same, how it was before? I mean, it was looking like this was gonna cost us a lot of money just to do a residential home, based on the land disturbance requirements that were coming at us.
For the code amendment stuff?
Or the way it stands right now.
That's the current code right now, is what's in place in the ordinance, in the Branson municipal ordinance.
So when do we think that's gonna get changed?
It's possible it could be on July's agenda. I can't speak for its other staff members that are involved in that one, but just hearing what happened tonight with the other project we just got put on our plates, we're hoping for July. We just don't want to continue it again if it's not ready, and then it's three continuances down the road, and yeah, that was the reasoning.
So is my understanding then, any residential homes we're doing right now in Branson Hills, anything that's under an acre, are we having to follow this whole engineering and all of the stipulations that are in that right now?
I'm not sure. I think that there's been kind of an in-house policy per se on maybe some of those requirements that has been followed, but it's not my lane, I guess.
So basically, I need to like contact Trayson tomorrow or something to just touch base with them because.
Trayson or Amanda,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Any other commissioners have any questions or comments? Is there anyone here who wants to speak on delaying this? Would any of the commissioners wish to entertain a motion to postpone the meeting indefinitely?
I'll make the motion to postpone the meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Just to clarify the motion, that was a motion to postpone indefinitely, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
I will now call for a vote.
Commissioner Richards?
Yes.
Alderperson Denham?
Yes.
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Hillis?
Yes.
Chairperson Groman?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Dieger?
Yes.
Commissioner Martinoski?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Day?
Yes.
Commissioner Gore?
Yes.
9 votes yea, 0 nay. Motion carried.
This concludes the public hearing items for tonight's meeting. Staff, do you have any reports for the commission?
Yes, I do. Just to let you know that we're the upcoming Planning Commission next month in July. We are planning on having a training for the commissioners. We do have a new member. I know he's not here tonight, but that's going to be on the agenda. And then possible July, August would be study session for annexations. Okay. That's it.
In the event that we have to consider the modifications for the relative to the previous meeting. Would we adjust the training accordingly so we have enough time and we're not here till?
I'm sorry, Gary, what
Well,
is that question?
time-wise, we scheduled the training, but methinks if this convex thing comes up, this bit farm comes up, it's going to be one long meeting, and whether you have the training before or after.
Yeah, we can do
I hate to have a
some-
room full of people sitting here.
We can do some agenda management, for sure. We can do some agenda management, yep.
Thank you. Anything else? Did any of the commissioners have any reports or anything they want to say? The next item on the agenda would be adjournment. Our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024, at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn the June 4th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Now call for a vote.
Commissioner Richards?
Yes.
Alderperson Denham?
Yes.
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Hillis?
Yes.
Chairperson Groman?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Dieger?
Yes.
Commissioner Martinowski?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Day?
Yes.
Commissioner Gore?
Yes.
Result of the vote, 9 yea, 0 nay. Motion carried at 6:35 PM.
Thank you all, appreciate it.